Hello Kana, hello. Welcome back. Instructions for gardening mini vegetables at home. In today's market economy, unsafe, dirty food is always present and exists a lot in daily life. Recently, it can be mentioned that the scandal of dirty vegetables was changed and ran into the supermarket. So we will not know whether the vegetables we eat today are safe, clean or not, or whether we are afraid that our health will be affected after eating. If in the countryside, every house has a vegetable garden where the food consumed daily is mainly from that garden. In the city, the food mainly comes from the market where no one controls the quality, so it cannot ensure that the food is clean or not. In the city, the land fund is small. Not all houses have the conditions to garden vegetables at home. But houses with land or space to make a mini vegetable garden do not know how to grow a reasonable and effective vegetable garden. Today, I will show you how to grow a basic mini vegetable garden for beginners. Basics of planting and growing a vegetable garden. It may sound difficult at first, but gardening is a very rewarding hobby. On this page, we will reveal the basics of vegetable planning and gardening. How to choose the right location for your garden, how to create a garden of the right size, and how to choose which vegetables to grow. Choose the right location. Choosing a good location for your garden is very important. Here are some tips for choosing a good gardening location. 1. Sunny place. Most vegetables need direct sunlight for 6 to 8 hours a day. There are some vegetables, mainly leafy, that will tolerate shade. 2. Well drained and not wet. If you have poorly drained soil where there is stagnation of water after rain, go to a high bed and then plant vegetables on the bed. Wet soil means wet roots, which can cause root rot. If the soil is mixed with pebbles, try to remove a lot of pebbles in the soil to make the plant grow better. 3. Stable and windless. Avoid places with strong winds that could spill your saplings or will prevent pollinators from doing their job. Nor should we plant in a location where there are too many people passing by or prone to flooding. 4. Nutrient-rich soil. Nutrient-rich soil will grow healthy and increase efficiency many times. If the soil is bad, we can buy more treated clean soil to strip up and mix with the topsoil to grow vegetables to increase soil nutrition, as well as mix topsoil with organic fertilizers to improve soil nutrition. Reference: Clean Land Organic Fertilizer. Choose the plot size. Remember, it's better to be proud of a small garden than to be disappointed by a big garden. One of the most common mistakes beginners make is planting too much, more than family needs. Planting too much will be both difficult to manage and expensive, and beginners often do not have enough experience to handle when there is an adverse situation. Start small and grow only plants that suit your family's needs. The size of the garden 1. If planted in the ground without a bed, the garden with a size of 3 meters by 3 meters, 9 square meters, is a reasonable size that can be managed. Choose 3 to 5 of your favorite vegetables and buy 1 to 3 packets of seeds each. Reference vegetable seeds. 2. If planted in a high bed, the size of 1.2 meters by 1.2 meters or 1.2 meters by 2.4 meters is the best size for beginners. There are 2 ways to make a vegetable bed. That is the traditional way we can hoe the topsoil and cultivate the bed, or another way is to use a water-resistant board to frame the bed and then pour the soil into the bed. 3. If you have a larger land, the size of 3.6 meters by 7.2 meters is the largest land that you should use for your first time in a vegetable garden. For example, a garden that meets the needs of a family of 4 can include 4 pumpkin stumps, 1 bunch of zucchini, 10 chili plants of all kinds, including sweet peppers, 6 tomatoes, 12 okra plants, a row of 3.6 meters long cove beans, 2 rows of cucumbers, 2 eggplant plants, 6 basil plants, 1 rosemary, and some low-growing herbs such as oregano, onion, discharge. 4. Whatever the size of your garden, remember that we need to leave 1 path, and this path makes it possible to take care of all the plants in the garden, including fertilizing, weeding, and harvesting. Choose the type of tree. As a beginner, start by choosing vegetables that are easy to grow and high-yielding. You can try the 10 easy-to-grow vegetables below. However, you have to find out the climate and weather where you live to make sure it is suitable for the crop you are going to grow. top 10 easy-to-grow vegetables. 1. Lettuce. 2. Legumes. 3. Beet. 4. Tomato. 5. Pumpkin. 6. Chili. 7. Kohlrabi. 8. Carrots. 9. Cabbage or kale. 10. Green peas. 5 tips for choosing vegetables. 1. Choose the vegetables you and your family like to eat. Grow more in the trees you like and less in the less used ones. 2. Be realistic and plan and calculate how many vegetables your family will eat. Be careful not to plant too much, as you will only get thinner when you try to take care of too many plants without eating them all. 3. We should also take a look at agricultural products that ensure local safety. If there are safe and cheap products near the house, you should not plant those types anymore, but should plant other types that are not available nearby to increase efficiency. 4. Be prepared to take care of the vegetable garden in the most thoughtful way. Vegetable is an easy plant to grow, but it is certain that it will also need great care if it wants to grow clean vegetables. For beginners, this time investment may shock you. Every day you may have to water the plants, weed the vegetable garden or purple leaves. Catching worms is a frequent thing. 5. Use high-quality seeds. It is best to buy seeds in a reputable place so that the effort we spend pays off. There are many cases where the use of poor quality seeds has reduced yield when harvested, or the plant cannot survive to the harvest, causing a waste of effort. Where and when to plant. Planning for gardening is a rather difficult process when it comes to having to choosing a wide variety of plants and having to arrange their seasons in a reasonable way. If we only plant 2-3 types of plants, we don't have to have a headache, but so we will plant. But if we plant more than enough plants, we will have to clarify the following 2 big questions. Where will each plant be planted? When will each plant be planted? Here are some guidelines for arranging the vegetables in your garden. 1. Not all vegetables are grown at the same time. Cool season vegetables such as lettuce, mustard and peas, carrots grow in the cool weather of early spring and autumn. Warm season or summer is very suitable for growing cucurbits such as pumpkins, cucumbers, and may have some tomato varieties. 2. Plant tall stem vegetables such as beans, trellis squash or sweet corn on the north side of the garden so they don't shade the lower plants. If you have shade in a part of your garden, save that area for small, cool season and shade-loving vegetables. 3. Most vegetables are annuals planted every year. If you are planning to plant perennial plants such as asparagus, rhubarb and some coriander, plant in a permanent location or bed. 4. Some crops mature quickly and have a very short harvest time, radishes, bush beans. Other plants, such as tomatoes, take longer to give a harvest, but also give a longer harvest. This planting and harvesting season is already written on the seed packet, and it's your job to look at this season to balance the season between plants for the year properly. 5. Plant each other's pillows. You will not want to plant all the vegetables in the garden to be collected at the same time, because by the time they are collected, you will not be able to eat them in time. Therefore, plant pillows together to ensure that each vegetable is collected at a time, and when collected, it will be more reasonable to collect another plant. When to plant what tree, each region has a different planting time, mainly based on the weather of that region, and each vegetable also has its own temperature requirements. In the cold winter, look for cold plants to plant. In the hot season, look for heat-loving plants, and these temperature conditions are already written on the seeds. Some typical seasonal vegetables in northern Texas, spring and summer. Growing lettuce, cabbage, tomatoes, summer and autumn. Planting cucumbers, cucurds, peppers, autumn and winter. Planting bush beans, carrots, potatoes, kohlrabi, cabbage, reference. Yellow horned pepper variety. Star green onions, bitter melon, spinach. Gardening plan for beginners. To help beginners, we think it is very important to design the shape of the garden. What shape or terrain the garden has will be based on it, and arrange the plants in that shape accordingly. This is an example of a beginner family garden that mainly uses the popular easy-to-grow vegetables listed above that are square in size 7.2 meters each. You will see that we have given the garden medium-sized paths and also planted a few more herbs and flowers. Honestly, if you are a beginner, you should only start with a small corner of this garden and what plants you like to plant, because this large garden will need a more experienced person to handle it. And moreover, this garden will meet the abundance of food for about 6 people to eat, with a garden where the dill square is the most typical and ideal. However, if you can't have a square garden, but there may be defective corners, don't worry. because all gardens with sunlight can grow vegetables. Divide the spacing of plants reasonably and proceed with planting as usual. The defect of the vegetable bed will only make the vegetable bed a little unaesthetic. It is best if the soil is carefully loosened, removing weeds and stones. In today's agriculture, it is recommended to use water-resistant boards to frame the bed and pour soil into that bed frame to plant plants, which will increase aesthetics and cleanliness. The beds are divided based on the shape of the land so that it is most reasonable. Plants are planted at the distance recommended by the manufacturer and watered adequately. Take care of nutrition and pests for the garden. As mentioned above, our garden is aimed at a garden with clean vegetables, so there will be care techniques that are safe and do not use chemicals. It's technical, but to make it simple for beginners, we have synthesized it into a simple technical process that includes two ideas: nutritional care, and the second is pest management. One, take care of nutrition by regularly adding organic nutrition to the soil. The time to supplement nutrients for plants to collect fruit is before planting, during plant development, and before flowering. The time for foliar plants only needs to be applied once before planting. The method of application is to bury the nutrient near the base of the tree, about 20 to 15 centimeters. Depending on the size of the tree, apply the appropriate amount. Fertilizers used are organic fertilizers that have been used for rotted. Reference an organic fertilizer too. Manage pests and diseases for the garden by regularly inspecting. If worms appear with a small density, we can catch and destroy them by hand. If pests and diseases appear a lot, spray safe biological insecticide preparation Saigon. Usually growing vegetables at home, very few diseases appear. If the disease appears, spray the disease of Saipan biological plants, but almost all home vegetable gardens have never needed to use a disease elimination preparation. This is just a preventive therapy only. Above is the full guide to growing vegetables safely at home for beginners. Hope you've been able to plan and prepare your own plants for your garden. Happy garden, everyone's. Make America great again. God bless America.